Hi, class. My name is Helen Johnson, and I am one of your Module 4 discussion leaders. And we're going to talk a little bit about kind of the articles that you're reading. We're also going to talk a little bit about the overarching themes that are throughout all of our articles this week. Our topic for Module 4 is aligning projects with organizational strategy. And there's a lot of talk about organizational strategies and suggestions that can be used through a lot of the projects. So, diving into some of the articles, talks a lot about governance and a framework for mega projects. So, it's talking very largely about these giant projects and how to find a strategy, an organizational strategy to kind of help with that. There was talk about finding a balance between legitimacy, accountability, and efficiency. And that was a difficult task because if they're not balanced, then it's not going to work in a mega project like that. You must obtain equilibrium, and that will enhance the overall performance. And really, that will be the only way to find success there. Governance is also evolving there, and that's something that is going to depend on the company that you're in and the policies that are in place there. But those that balance has to be there. The following article was talking a lot about project portfolios and the management of those and how those are organizational tools that are very helpful for project managers and overall for an organization. Project portfolios are treated in a strategic way and they're indirect and they have influence over all projects. Um, and it shows the understanding of the relationships between all of the different projects. And so, showing a project portfolio can kind of help you see the different relationships that are involved in all the projects that are going on. And project portfolios really influence the parent organizations and those strategies that they use as well. Another article discusses more about shareholders and project portfolios and how they kind of have that interrelationship. And so, again, that organizational strategy that you can use to really connect now with your stakeholders, not only just your entire company, but also then your stakeholders as well. Interaction with stakeholders and interrelationships between them are largely influence the overall success and performance of the project. This really reminded me of an article we read last week talking about stakeholder engagement and how it was very important to have a strong a strong relationship with those stakeholders. And so even the stakeholders are going to need to see those project portfolios and really understand that organizational strategy behind that. Stakeholder management is one of the most important issues, just as we talked about last week. That's kind of moving into this week as well. In order to manage the conflicts between the stakeholders, it's necessary to respect for our stakeholders to get along with each other. And if they're feeling, if it's well organized and they understand what's going on, it really helps to eliminate that conflict as well. Another article discussed working time in multiple project settings. So most of us know if you're already in project management that you don't just have one iron in the fire, as they say. There's multiple projects going on at the same time, so that's why those organizational strategies are so important. And dealing with work overload, because that might happen. There were some practices that were discussed in this article that I hope you pay close attention to: extending work hours, managing boundaries, prioritizing emergencies, and then negotiating work and deadlines, which really kind of goes along with prioritization and understanding what needs to be done first, what can kind of be pushed off so that everybody can function at one time in a group and projects can move together as one. Also, something that it reminded me of last week we talked about was overlapping and how one can really affect another project that's going on. And so understanding that and seeing the organizational strategy behind it, seeing the mind map or seeing that can kind of help organize those ideas. Another article this week was discussing the alignment of the purposes and views in process models in project management. So those process models, of course, in project management, we rely a lot on those models, flow charts or Gantt charts or your responsibility matrix where you have everything mapped out. And those are very important in seeing the whole picture. Now, and it did discuss, which I thought was really important, that you need to have the right tool for the right job, right? You're not going to use a certain tool that gives you too much information, and that can really kind of muddy the water or make stakeholders or even your team members a lot more confused than they need to be. So using the correct tool when you need to is an important part. And then strategic alignment on projects is important. Lots of alignment models focus on appropriate projects and avoiding wasted investments. So now we want that alignment model to come out, which really helps us to understand a project's alignment with our company and with its values. And then really understanding, is this going to be a waste of time? And eliminating those projects that we know aren't going to be effective can really help us as well. So that's where that alignment model comes into play. And alignment is more complicated than ever. I mean, projects are more complicated than ever, so that's why alignment is so important. So my team and I came up with some questions, which I will post below the video. Our first one is, in the management of project portfolios article, the author suggests there are 4 theoretical possibilities concerning the portfolio's context relations: instructional, stakeholder, resource, dependence, and sense-making theories. Choose one of those theories and discuss the relevance it has on project portfolios. Once again, for our readings, we know that stakeholders can impact the success or failure of a project. As a project manager, what has been your experience regarding stakeholders' impact on a project, and what was the outcome? If you have no project experience, what examples from our readings can you infer about stakeholder impact and their effect on project outcome? The articles note a complex problem of firms needing to work efficiently at a pace dictated by the market in order to stay competitive, while also considering the workload of team members. How may effective project management and management of multiple projects help respond to this complexity? So that's kind of where those organizational strategies come into play. And finally, with what impact, if any, has business strategy had on a project that you have played a role in? If business strategy has not impacted a project you have taken a part in, or you have no experience in product management, what are some challenges the author discusses that business strategy can impact? Thanks for listening. Good luck on all your readings and your responses.